The scene starts with a person being dead. His internal voice thought that his life sucked already, just like a regular person. It thought that the time he got reincarnated as a fat, depressed, bullied orphan kid but ended up becoming a legendary sword master hero in a fantasy isekai world after 69,420 years. The goblins there were very strong, especially if a person is an unfit Discord nullifier. He then recalled that all his game currency just went to waste. Suddenly, there were some notifications coming to the person which stated that he had received the trait of main character, and he had also received the passive skill of plot armor, and also a unique skill overpoweredness. The person then suddenly wakes up in a classroom, and he was confused about where he had come, as he was not able to recall if he had died or not. He also thought that he must not have died a virgin then. He thought that even the guy in, like, every single 18+ manhwa comments is not a virgin. Then suddenly, an idea struck his mind as he was horrified and thought that whether that place was hell. He thought that the people who made the hell really knew what they were doing. He thought that it would have been good if he would have died, and then he recalled that he was already dead. Then a person came near him who was another boy. He referred to the protagonist as an orphan and ordered him to bring some bread for him. He also asked him why did he even come to school and also ordered that he would be taking his homework and told him that his dad sponsored that school, and so he has the right to do that. The person told him that he had never passed an exam in his life and he would not be wanting to take his homework. The person told the protagonist that his goons waiting outside the door and the rest of the class that was insanely scared of his gang would beat the shit out of him. The person replied and asked him that whether he did not have his own fighting ability. Then the other replied that until he jumped off that rooftop again. Then the person answered no to him, discouraging his ideas. The person was not getting what to say, and in his mind, he was abusing him badly. The protagonist thought that if anyone is getting bullied, they should just say no, as that bully legally cannot abuse them without their consent, and that works like a charm. The other person then got angry, and as the time passed from morning to evening, he kept on speaking and abusing him, proving his worth. He told him that his father's brother's wife's son-in-law's friend's neighbor has a very high position in the police force. He also added that they would come to his house and arrest him, and they would beat the shit out of them and their family and also his fictional girlfriend and every other thing with a single thread of association with him. He also told him to be on his place while abusing him and told him that he would be dragging him to the rooftop with his 50 underlinings and then beat him up and drag him to a secluded alleyway where he would meet up with the literal gangsters he had paid off. And he also added that he would make him get a tattoo and force him into the gang which he would never be able to leave. Then, as the protagonist slept, he told him to wake up as he was not done talking yet. Then he ordered one of his friends to go and fight with the person. He was an average man who a villain number 2394 sent to outgoon one. The protagonist asked him why didn't he come to fight with him all at once. The person replied that he did not think that. Then he introduced him by telling his name to be Cortain Dab V. The person mispronounced his name by Courting Deaf, and then he again told his name as Cortain Dav. He then added and told him to make a bet that if he could even touch and beat and hurt a single atom of his hair, the person just touched him, and the person got flown up in the deep sky far away by that move of his. Then suddenly, there was a siren's blare, and the protagonist got a notification of a king being spotted in 20 town, which was 200 meters away. There was a warning generated that the demon king has appeared, and all the civilians should evacuate immediately. He also received the notification that the trait main character was activated. The Demon King was known to be level 69,420 and possessed the abilities of every demon in hell, and humanity's strongest heroes had already died in their hands. He received the echoes of many different people for protecting them from dying and to save them. He also received the sad echoes calling them to save. The Demon King was the strongest enemy humanity had faced so far, and so going anywhere near him would be a very, very stupid decision. The Demon King of the 999th Hell was of level 69,420. The next scene was taken to the Demon King where he referred to humans as ants. He referred to himself as the Demon King Satan Yama and Mahades Loki Heavenly Sky Demon Lucifer. He told that they should serve prostrate to him and serve him loyalty, and he might spare their life. The protagonist then asked the demon about how much age he was having, and he thought his age to be only 12. Also, in his mind, he was getting deep embarrassment from that guy. The demon thought, when did he change his school uniform? And he got angry by telling him that how dare he turned his benevolent offer of Dragon Phoenix Twin Falling Goose Heaven Vanquishing Universe Destroying Blades Cat Dog Potato Carrot Blood Breath. After saying all these things, he took a deep breath of air to relax himself. The protagonist thought that the guy was an NPC, and he told him that he should chill as he had not said no till now. And saying that, he pushed him from the cliff and told him to hang there as it gets better there. While the protagonist was angry by this, the protagonist's hand slipped from the cliff edge and he started to fall from there. He thought that it's only been half a day and this cannot be happening to him. He thought whether that meant that he was not gonna outlive Cortain death. He thought that the demon literally had death in his name. Then he thought of that he was the main character and thought whether could he not magically be revived or something. Then suddenly, a notification struck again, telling that he had received a rare item, copium. But then his morale gave up, and he thought that it was happening for real, and there are no more second chances and nothing would change. He was regretful as he felt upset of not being able to protect anyone, not even his talented sister and not even himself. Then a notification again came, stating that he should have mentioned his sick mother in that list too. Then he agreed about that. While then he realized and questioned since when he was having a mother as he thought that all MCs just conveniently had non-existent parents. He was still falling beneath, and a notice came again telling that a passive skill plot armor was activated and all his stats were increased. Then he began to float, and then he had an armor and sword in his hand. He was having a new look this time. And he thought that he was having the strongest armor of all. Also he had glowing sperm eye seeking for revenge from the Demon King. He then rose up, taking the sword in his hand, and with certainty in his eyes, he declared that the Demon King would be dying by his hand. The protagonist was seen in front of the demon, trying to stab him with the sword while the demon was dodging his attacks. The demon taunted him, saying it was not his final form and referred to it as weak. A notice came to him stating that if that is so, then it would just give him more power-ups. Then suddenly, tons of notifications came, stating that he was leveled up, and he got the notification that his skill plot armor had been upgraded due to repeated use. Also, his skill overpoweredness evolved from S to X. The demon was a little shocked to see all this happening in front of him, and he told that he was not paid enough for that. The protagonist then defeats the Demon King as the notification beeps in front of him. The Demon King fell on the ground, and the protagonist thanked that he did not turn into a lowly. But then suddenly, his body, which was there on the ground, started to glow with bright yellow light. And there was a girl in the scene who was telling it to be stopped, and she referred to the protagonist as Mikey and asked him what he had done. The girl then gave her introduction and told him that many years ago she was just a normal young girl until the gates of hell opened up, and she was dragged into it completely defenseless. She added that she started to dress up as a man so she would not be perceived as weak. While the protagonist told her to stop by adding that then in her story further she might have defeated all the demons and rose to the top of the hell and so on. He thought, seeing her, that MILFs were better than her and he was disappointed. She agreed but she added that he needs to listen to the most important part, that she might look like that. She then suddenly changed herself from a poor and dull face and not so good dress to a beautiful looking attire with changed hairstyle and dress. She told him that he could call her System Chan. Then another such lady appeared in front of them and told the main character, Kim Min-cheol, that she had been observing them for a long time. While the protagonist was confused as those were getting multiplied in different attires and dresses. Different attires told different things to him, someone mentioning that she could read his deepest thoughts while someone said that she could take any form he wanted and they knew exactly what he liked, while another told him to not act like an innocent. The protagonist told that it seemed like they cared an awful lot about him, while the girl clarified that it is not like that and she does not necessarily like him or any stuff like that while she was being shy. The protagonist was confused and angry, and he left that place from an exit, telling her that he was out from that shit. While in his mind he thought that it also did not sound that bad an idea while he was leaving from there in shyness. Then suddenly when he came outside a truck was coming near him but he, facing the truck, thought surely he wasn't dying there as there was no war in Ba Sing Se and also he thought of Truck Kun to have mercy on him. While the truck seemed to be stopped there for that moment,